So listen, we're going to be looking at Match and MatchAll. These are string prototypes. So they're string methods that you can use alongside with your regular expression to find patterns within strings. The difference between the match and the MatchAll: the match, if you do use the global flag, will return back all of the results within an array format, but it's not going to give you details of where they're located, whereas the MatchAll will have the index value of where that particular value is located in regards to the string input. And you can see that within the console it's being output. Those are the index values, and we're simply taking those index values as well as the pattern that we're matching, and that's all coming from the string within the text area and outputting the results onto the page for the user to see. Some string methods. So let's go through the HTML. We've got a text area, we've also got a button, and then we've got an output area where we can output results. We've got it loaded on the right-hand side within the browser. On the left-hand side is going to be the code editor that we're going to be using to write code. The script is linked from the HTML to a file called code.js. So let's begin, and we're going to create some element objects. We're going to be selecting the elements from the page. And the first one is going to be the text area. So using the document and query selector, select the element, and because we only just have the one text area element, we can select it using its tag name. I'll also select the button object, and we'll do that as well using the document and query selector. So we select the button so that we can make it button and add an event listener to the button. And then the last one is going to be the results. So we'll select that element, and this one has a class of result. So select it via its class, and then that way we've got them all within JavaScript objects that we can select within the code and make the elements interactive and also get the contents of the elements. So first up, let's go ahead and we're going to make the button clickable by adding an event listener. And the event that we're listening for is going to be a click. And once the button gets clicked, then we can select, and we're going to select the content of the text area and check to see our regular expression and then output the results from the check into the results area on the page. We'll do this with an anonymous function that's built into the event listener. We'll select the text content, and that's going to be coming from whatever is currently within the text area. And we'll select the value. And for now, we'll just output the text content into the console. So when we click the button, we see the content of the text content going into the console. You can also add in some default text into the text area. So we can do that by creating a string. So this is the string that we're going to be using, and then just adding in some text content into the string. And I'll set the text area value to the string value, so just equal that to the string value. And this will give us a way that we can easily change the content of the input area. So now when we select it, we can also edit and add additional text into the area. So let's go ahead and we're going to check to see if we can find a match. So we're going to be using the match string method, which is a prototype on the string. And we're going to be matching it using a regular expression. So the regex, I was going to call it rex. We're going to select it by using the 2 forward slashes, and then the pattern that we want to match. So right now, what we'll do is we'll select the word love, and then do a match against that result from the text area, and then we'll output that first into the console, and afterwards we'll output it into the results area on the page. So I'll just call it finder. And what we first parameter that we need is we need to get the text content that we're using, and that's coming directly from the text area. And then use the match method, and then the regular expression that we want to match. And this will return back the results in the variable finder. So this is what we get for the results. And if we want to match, if we have multiple words there that are going to match the pattern that we're looking for, we're only returning back the first one if we're matching. We can also check for a global match, so matching it using the G flag for a regular expression, and that will return back all of the results that it's found within the entire string value, and it returns it within an array format. So that's what we want to do, is we want to get it back within an array format and see that we've got the number of results that have been found. So let's return that and make use of that and output that into the results area. So we do have the one match there. So first we'll have a condition that will check to see if finder length is greater than 0. So we'll loop through finder using for each, and every item we find we'll just put output as found. And then that way we can also build an HTML value. So we'll create an HTML element that we're going to construct, and then we'll add that HTML element to the page after we've gone through the conditions here. So looping through and adding to the HTML element, I'm going to use the backticks, the template literals, and we'll also output the value of index. So we'll get the index value. I use the variable I for the index value. So we'll return back what we have as found, and then also we can return back the index value, so for the value of I. And that will increment the value of HTML. And then having the condition, so if the length is not greater than 0, that means that none were found. And we'll output the result of HTML. For now, we'll output it into the console, and then after we can move that and add that into the results area. So adding in some more of those words, the word love, and we see we've got the results there being output. Let's wrap this within a div so that they get each their separate lines, and just closing off the div. So it'd be a little bit easier to read. And also let's output that into the results area. So set the inner HTML to the value of HTML. So every time we click the button, we can see that that's returning back what's being found within the results area. If we remove the word, we're going to throw an error because we can't read the properties of null. And that's because the default response when no matches are found is null. So it doesn't automatically create an array. It returns back null. So we have to account for that within the code. And that should be if finder is not equal to null, try to remove the word, and we get the message there that it's not found. It's added back in. And now we see that we get it found 3 times. Again, are the index values as where it's sitting within the finder array. Depends on if you're using the G flag or not. So if you are using the G or the global flag, then it's going to return back all the matching results from the regular expression. So all of the cut results from the string. If you remove out the G, then it's not going to return it back within this array type format. So it's returning it back in 2 different formats. So if you need to know the position of where it was found within the string, there are other methods that you can use. So this one will just simply return back the number of items resulting. And if you're not using the G flag, then you get more information about where the match has been located. Let's also look at MatchAll. So MatchAll is a method that returns an iterator of all of the results that match the string. So we're going to be creating and returning back an array. We can use the same array that we used as finder. So this is creating an array object that is going to be coming from the MatchAll. We're going to use the 3 dots in order to capture all of the results back. And then here's where we enter in the string that we want to perform the MatchAll on. And then using the MatchAll, and this is going to be the regular expression that we use within the MatchAll. So let's take a look at what we get back for results. We'll log that out into the console as finder. And what it does is it's going to return back an array. The array is going to give us an indication of where the index is located. So within that array, where that starting value is for the word or for the pattern that we're matching. And then also the total input that we had. And then there's the word that we were looking for. So let's add in a few more examples of the word love, and we'll see what we get returned back. So this time we get 3 arrays, and these arrays contain all of the information of the array, the input value, and the word that we're looking for, or the match that we're trying to find, and then also the index of where it's located. So you can see the indexes are changing. So this gives us more context and more detail as to what we found within the string and where it's located. So now we can use that information, and that's contained within the results that are being returned back from the match all. So this is a better way in order to match all of the matching values in the results to that pattern that we're looking for. And we can see that we've got additional information within the found. So this will just be R. And then within the results that we're returning back, we can check to see R, and that's going to have an index value of 0 because this is an array. So that's going to give us the word of index value under the index value. And because this is going to be an object, we can output the index that way. So now we get that we found love at index value of 16. So returning back the index value from the array, and that's using the value of 0 for the word, and then the input value that we've got, and that's going to be just the regular text area, and then the index is returning back where it's located within the string. And that's all being returned back, and then we can output that into the web page. So let's update some of the string content here, and we see that we end up with 6 matches to the pattern that we're looking for within the string content. So there's 3, 4, 5, and 6, and those are the index positions of where they're located within the string. So that's how you can use the match all in order to match all of the matching results and then return that back within an array format. To get more familiar with match and match all string methods that are available within JavaScript when you're using the regular expressions.